welcome or welcome back to my channel and to day 5 of Bookmas. So this one was actually recommended by one of my lovely subscribers, and she asked for suggestions of like books to gift to pretty much every or different ages and genres. So this is kind of going to be a free-for-all of books for everyone in your family, your friends, different age genres. I might have a little bit like of gaps or a few less in certain things. I did my best. But yeah, I'm going to stop talking and just get into it, because as you guys can see, some of these stacks around me, you can't even see this front one very well. There's a lot of books. So let's get into it. The first one I'm going to go over is kind of like the baby toddler age. We loved books even at that age, and there are these cute little finger puppet books that our kids have always loved. This one is called God's Love is a Rainbow. It doesn't have anything nasty in it or whatnot, but they really love the finger puppet ones. Even our 4-year-old still loves the finger puppet one. So we have that one. We have a little jingle little reindeer, and there's another one that we have that I'm not sure where it is. That's Daddy Loves Me. Another one is our one daughter is obsessed with animals, so she loves these noisy animal books where, I'm not sure if it's on right now. Put it on. You like go and you, yeah, press and it gives the animal, oh, that one's shorting out. We've had this for a long time. Animal noise. So these are one of our kids' favorites, especially my youngest daughter, and they have different ones, noisy farm animals. There's a like baby animal one. So these are really fun ideas too. And then another one that they really love to be read to is The Bear Snores On. And you've got to snore when the bear snores, right? That's part of the fun of it. So this is a really cute, great little book. And one that my eldest daughter, she is 4, so getting a little bit older, has really loved is just all of the Bearstein Bear books. She loves these. She also loves Dr. Seuss. Now they do have more like baby Dr. Seuss ones, like oh gosh, I'm trying to think of it now. Why can't I not think of any? Mr. Brown Can Moo is one. But we had like all of those little like board ones for when they were younger too. And then one that both of them have absolutely adored, this is one that a sweet friend of ours got them, was The Night Owl by Christopher Dennis. This is such a cute book, guys. And they actually have, I think, a new one that came out about the night owl meets like the morning bird or something like that. So we kind of want to get them the next one. But these are just a few options for kind of like that baby to younger age. I also personally like, especially when they're babies, and I don't have any right now to show you, but to get kind of like the soft books, because, you know, they like to just like touch and crinkle it and everything. And I've tried to do that with like colors and like animals and stuff for them to learn their colors and animals pretty early on. And that's worked pretty well for us. So, okay, and then going into some more like elementary age book. One that we have loved reading to our 4-year-old, and that I'm sure she will love reading herself when she gets to be a bit older, is the Magic Treehouse Stories. This is a series of books, and my husband read these when he was in elementary. One that I read kind of like elementary up through middle school was actually the Nancy Drew books. I love Nancy Drew, and I feel like this definitely kind of starts at elementary, can be started at elementary. Obviously it is a mystery. Sometimes murders or like crimes happen, so that's like up to you, but I'm pretty sure I probably started reading these books like 4th to 5th grade. So that's another one. One we've been reading to our oldest also is the Wing Feather Saga. We've only read the first one and we're in the middle of the second one. So, but this is a like Christian fantasy type of book, and I feel like it is kind of higher elementary to middle grade type of age range. And then one more for kind of elementary is The Little Prince. This is one that we love to read to both of our daughters, and is kind of more like elementary age, I guess, or younger. So that is another one also. Going into kind of more higher elementary or like middle grade books, I would recommend a series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. This is such a great series. I still haven't finished it, but it is such a great series. It is very dark though, even though like the writing style is very much like elementary grade level. It is kind of dark and grim, and I mean the whole like series of events is all like these awful things. It's not intensely like descriptive or anything like that. It's just, you might want to be a little bit careful or kind of vet and kind of see the vibes of how dark it is, and kind of just dependent on your child, so, and y'all's preference. One that I read growing up, middle school type of age, elementary, middle school, was The Warriors. This is the first one, Into the Wild. They have a whole set of tons of different like spread off series, and I know I read this one, and so did like all of my other friends. I want to say like 9 to 12 was like the age range that we were really into these, and I read this one. I know I read probably like 2 other of the spinoffs. I read a lot of them. I don't know if they're still going. I don't know if it's still like okay if it's still going, if she's still doing spring-offs of the series, but this one was really good. It's just like a bunch of cats in the wild, and they have different clans, and they're like feeding off their territory and everything, and fighting and having all this stuff. So it was pretty fun for me. I believe my sister read it and she liked it. She's more of a dog person, which so am I, but she just really preferred the dog series, because there's another one. I'm trying to think of what the dog series is called. There is a polar bear one too, and I think that one's called Seekers, but I can't remember what the dog one is called. All right, and then The Borrowers. This is actually a classic, but this is very much elementary, middle grade type of like easy to read. There's nothing bad in this book at all. It is just about these little tiny people who kind of like live in the nooks and crannies, and they just borrow stuff that like gets lost and nobody cares about, basically. So they're called the borrowers, and that's how they like make their life and everything. It's a really cute, just short little story that I really enjoyed when I was like 10ish. So that's another one if somebody's wanting a little bit more slow pace. If you're wanting something that you want to actually have historical like significance to teach your child or somebody else's, whoever you're gifting this to, something, then I would suggest Number the Stars by Lois Lowry. This is like really good. It is about World War II, but it is not a super sad ending for World War II, because most books obviously end horribly. This follows a family in Denmark helping one of their families who are Jews escape, and it does follow and have a little thing on the back about the true events that happened from it and how they were helping Jews escape in Denmark. So that's pretty cool, something a little bit more significant, or for a young little boy who might like history, or girl, I liked it. So another one that I have not read the whole series of, but my friend who recommended this book did when she was like middle grade age, was The Ruins of Gorlin. This is the Ranger's Apprentice series. Sorry. This is by John Flanagan. Nothing bad in this, but it is like, it's a fantasy. So sorry, my light is like, it is a fantasy. And so I'm trying to remember what this is. Basically, this guy goes to be an apprentice for someone. Once they get to a certain age, they have to apprentice someone. So, it's got fighting and stuff like that in it, but it's nothing, it is very much middle grade. So clean content. I don't remember anything bad in this one. And I'm pretty sure my friend said that, it's a whole middle grade series, so it doesn't have anything like crazy in it. Okay. I also have a few more. So, Charlotte's Web is a really good one also for this kind of like middle grade. I believe I read this when I was 9. Just a really cute little story. It's actually about the spider is Charlotte, the pig is actually Wilbur. So Charlotte is trying to save the pig Wilbur from the slaughter, basically, and that's what this book is about. It is a cute, nice little tale that is a classic. So we also have Anne of Green Gables, and I know this seems a little bit daunting, but this is technically for like, and can be read in middle school type of age. I also read this chunker when I was 9. I have a deluxe edition, by the way. yeah, that goes to tell you how much of a reader I am, but not all versions are deluxe or this big or whatnot. And I really love Anne, and I have yet to meet a girl who doesn't love Anne, so would definitely recommend this one. And also, this is just, a lot of these classics too can kind of be any age range, like this and up type of thing. Anne is one of them that I think is timeless and can be read as an adult too. So definitely recommend it. And then also Where the Red Fern Grows. This one I really enjoyed. I gave this a 4.75 stars, and this is a middle grade. I would probably recommend higher middle grade, more to like the 12-13 age range personally, because this does have a few graphic, gory descriptions in it. But besides that, I really loved it. My husband actually gave it a 5 stars. He loved it even more. It is following a boy and his dog, so I think that men/boys can just connect a little bit more with the character. But this is also another really good one. And so the next age range, I don't have quite as many. It's kind of like that right fresh out of middle school, you're just entering high school type of thing. So yeah, early teen type of. And so for boys, I have one option for this. This is Earthsea, A Wizard of Earthsea. This is the first in the Earthsea series, and it's by Ursula K. Le Guin. It is a fantasy series. This is something that my husband started and read when he was 12, and he said it's completely clean. There's nothing like bad in it. So I would recommend this one. And then for girls, well, this could be a girl or a guy, so this could be either or. This is The Seer and the Sword by Victoria Hanley. This is like a YA fantasy, and it does have some romance in it, but it's not too romance heavy to where a guy can't enjoy it. My husband enjoyed it, and I really love this one. I think I read this at 13 or 14, and it's stood the time and continued to be one of my favorite fantasies. So if somebody's a little bit more in a fantasy type of mood or a fantasy type of girl, this might be one to pick up. Along with that, I do have one specifically for girls, and that is My Refuge, Follow in the Dark Book 1 by Ashley Al Salaby. This was absolutely amazing and astounding. I do say 13 to 15, and this can kind of just be what you think your daughter can handle, because this does deal with a lot of stuff. It follows 4 girls from 4 different countries struggling and going through different struggles and obstacles. And one is temptation in a virtual sexual way. Nothing is like described, whatever. I think the author did it very well, but that is something that you as a parent may just want to check out the book before giving it, so that you know the exact age that it can. But I think this could spur so many great and healthy conversations for you to have with your teen daughter, and I really loved it. The author did a great job at touching on all of the sensitive subjects. So now I have a couple for upper high school age range. Couple different ones here. I don't have as many for guys personally, but for girls here, I have Love and Other Goals by Tracy Bach. This is a Christian, like, rom-com, contemporary, I'm not sure, romance, and it is a college romance, but this one is super clean, super great content, one of my favorite books, and I have heard and know of several people who read it with their teenage daughter around the age of like 15 or so, 15, 16 up, so I think it's a great one for them to be able to read, or for you guys to read together. Yeah, but definitely completely clean content if they're looking for more of like a cute like romance. Another one that is also clean, but I do suggest for upper because this is a secular author, is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I also really love this one. I think 16 to 17 is kind of the perfect time range to pick this one up. It does follow 2 teenagers who are, I believe, seniors in high school in this, so I kind of think the upper age fits better anyway for that. And there are a few like little scenes, nothing graphic or whatnot, but just like stuff that can happen in high school. But I really enjoyed this one. If you're gonna pick one up from Lynn Painter, I feel like it needs to be this one, so yeah. All right, and then I do have one for somebody, maybe are they not quite so much a reader? Do they not like to read long stuff? Do they like pictures more? Yada, yada. Graphic novels can be a great option for those who are getting into reading or don't like reading as much. One that I love is The Cursed Princess Club Now, I will say that this is probably for higher high school age, 16, 17 up. The reason I say that is there are a few snide little like things about a character being gay or something, joking about it or whatnot, or making comments. And then there is also, for some odd, stupid reason, like a streaking scene of one of the characters streaking naked through something. It doesn't like fully show, obviously, it blurs out stuff, but it's still, you know, higher teen. But this is really good. Besides that, it has a really good message of like beauty being in the inside, and you know, your looks not mattering as much type of thing, and it being the goodness of your heart, personality, friendship. It's got a lot of good themes in it. So if you're one who can overlook that stuff, or you know, you think who you're getting it for is old enough and wise enough to kind of just skim over like I did type of thing, it's literally like once at the end. I think this is the first one. There's a couple, you know, it's still coming out, but yeah, so that's kind of dependent on you. But graphic novels in general, if you want to like look into more too, can be really helpful. Another thing that can be helpful for those type of people who just don't like to read as much is mangas. And so it's basically a Japanese comic book kind of. And one that I suggest is Full Metal Alchemist. One of my all-time favorites, guys. And I will say this might be a little bit more fitting for guys. Totally. I would definitely recommend it for guys. But I would also say it can work for girls. I read this along with my friend, my best friend from childhood, and we both loved it, 16, 17. My brother has read it, and my husband read it also when he was like around that age. So it's a very just beloved series for me from both guys and girls that I know of. Now this is, if you guys know anything about like Japanese manga animes, they can get a bit violent. So that would be like the biggest trigger warning I would put, is that there is quite a bit of violence in this. And obviously he's an alchemist, so there's alchemy, there's kind of, you know, but it's nothing crazy. This wasn't, you know, like, I don't know. It's a story. It didn't bother me at all. I think it's really good and well done. So I would definitely recommend this one. I'll be honest with you guys. Most of these can just, they can be read by both genres. But I do feel like in general, one genre, both male and female, women and men, that is what I mean to say. But some of them can be like, you know, universally enjoyed. And I feel like a lot of these that I recommend can be universally enjoyed. Some of them not so much, but yeah, let's just get into it. For our women, and this is my classics category, so keep in mind the classics category can kind of go either or which way for a lot of these books. Some of them might be particularly more girl than guy, but a lot of them are very much gender bending, I should say. The first one I have is more of a girl thing, because I've realized that not all guys like this one, is Little Woman by Louisa May Alcott. This is just an amazing book. Now, it is kind of a daunting book, so if you're trying to get this for somebody to be like, get into reading because this is an amazing book, you might want to give them like a more like kid shortened version, because they do have those. But yeah, mine is right over 600 pages. So I really love it and enjoy it. And it was daunting to me, but when I started reading it, I was like, I'm gone. This is wonderful. Another one that I would absolutely recommend is Black Beauty. This is by Anna Sewell. Beautiful book. It is following a horse, and some bad things happen to this horse. So if you're like, you or the person you're getting it for is like really super sensitive to that. Now, I don't think it has a sad ending. I don't remember it having like a sad ending, but you know, like if you're super sensitive to having to watch or read stuff happening to animals, then maybe this is not the book for that person. But if not, I really enjoyed it. Another one is, oh my goodness, I got two of those, is Heidi. This is actually one that you could definitely start younger too. I read this at 9 or 10. This is just following a little girl who goes to live with her grandpa, I think, in the Swiss Alps when her parents die. Just a really nice, sweet little tale. nothing crazy in it. Another one I also read when I was younger, so it could be for any and all ages, is The Little Princess by, who's this? Frances Hodgins Burnett. Really loved this one also. This follows a girl in an orphanage while her father is away doing something I can't remember, but yeah, really good one. Those, since they follow little girls, very much might be more girl geared. And The Wizard of Oz is another one I also read very young by L. Frank Baum that I feel like is good for like women readers, girl readers, and one that I personally is one of my favorites. I think this could be either or, men or women, but I've really loved Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. I know a couple of other women my age and older who also adore this classic, so I think it's a great one to recommend or get for people, especially if they love Peter Pan. All right, now we're going to go into some of our romances. So for the adult woman in your life, Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan is so good. This is definitely more adult. This is clean, but it is secular. So it's not Christian or anything, but it is clean. There was so much richness in this. It deals with grief, and so it's more than just a romance. It kind of feels a little bit more like literary fiction mixed with romance. So if the person you're buying for is a little bit more into that, they might like this. And then if the person you're buying for might be a little bit more old school, they like, you know, and if they like a sad ending. Because I'm going to be fair and warn you guys on this. This has a sad ending. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, yeah, this will make them happy. This has a sad ending. So if you know somebody who can handle that or likes that in their books, A Walk to Remember is like the best book by Nicholas Sparks that I know of. So I would definitely recommend this one. And then if you have somebody who just loves to laugh, who loves a rom-com, basically. Loves a good rom-com, who loves to laugh, loves the witty characters, loves all the cheese. If they like cheesiness in their books and they love to laugh, Sarah Adams is for them, okay? And The Cheat Sheet is my favorite, and I think it's always the one I'm gonna recommend first. She has some other ones. When in Rome is also good, and clean. They are clean, closed-door romances, so I really like her and her books. She has some that aren't as clean as others. The Rule Book, her newest release this year, did have one open door scene in it, so that was the first time she wasn't completely closed door. Be aware of that. But this one right here is completely clean. And if you're looking for another kind of like contemporary, kind of a little bit of rom-com, I don't think it's not a rom-com, but it does give you a little bit of the vibes. This is a Christian contemporary romance by Dulcie Dameron called Not Since You. Oh my goodness, like, second chance romance is not normally my favorite thing, but this is a second chance romance, and this is one of my favorite romance books. It's so good. The writing in this, the way that she put in the Christian themes of just forgiveness all throughout this story was just beautiful. I really, really enjoyed it. So if somebody's looking for something a little bit more like that, definitely recommend this one. All right, and then I'm going to recommend a few that might be, you know, a little bit older, maybe, ladies. I mean, I don't want to like age whatever people, I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, Karen Kingsbury is somebody who I know a lot of people who like all the way up to like your grandma's age, my mom, like my age. All ages can enjoy her. And this is one that I read this year called On Every Side. It is more of a politically driven novel because it does follow a court case that was based off of a true court case. I really enjoyed it because I really like politically driven stuff. I know not everybody does, so I asked my mom and she said one of her favorites was Dandelion Dust, I believe. I'll try to put a picture up here. So yeah, one of those two, if they're not so much into the political, maybe get them this one. And then I have a few nonfictions to recommend. So for the first one, it is Destined for the Throne. I have not read this one. It is on my TBR to read. This is one of my mom's favorite nonfiction books. She says every Christian should read it. My sister read it, I think, this past year, and she adored it and also says the exact same thing. So I am recommending it to you for your, you know, for somebody who's wanting a nonfiction, a nice one. This is apparently the one that every Christian needs to read, according to my mom and sister. Along with that, I'm going to recommend just a cute little book called Selfless. This is by Megan Fate Marshman. It is Living Your Part in the Big Story of God. If somebody wants just something short and like they want to start getting into nonfiction, or they're just like have a hard time reading it. This is super simplified and super short, so this would be a really quick and easy one to get somebody who's kind of just like tiptoeing in and wanting to get more into it, but you know, is kind of scared by the bigness. Another one is, and these two are definitely more, it can go for a guy or a girl. The first one I have is Unveiling Grace. I love this one. This is by Lynn K. Wilder, and it is the story of how we found our way out of the Mormon church. So if you are more interested in the false religion of Mormonism, then this is an amazing one to check out. Lynn K. Wilder was a tenured professor at BYU, one of the biggest like Mormon college, and this is her story of how she got out. It's really good. She also has a little table of context at the back of what Mormonism teaches versus what the Bible teaches, so it's one I always recommend. And I think as Christians, we should always be looking into what other religions believe so that we can help, it can help us to accurately and be helpful in trying to bring those people to Christ, because we shouldn't just forget about those who are of other religions who are not following Christ. You know, I think everybody who isn't following Christ is important, whether you're in another religion or not. Like, if it's not Christianity, it's false. And so, you know, I think that's really important. I want to read more. For those who don't know, my husband was an ex-Mormon, so that's why I've read a bit more in Mormonism, but I want to read more in other religions also. But if somebody is kind of like into, oh, I want to know more about stuff, this is a great one to start out for knowing more about Mormonism for sure. And then the last one here of nonfiction is God Just a Human Invention? And 17 Other Questions Raised by the New Atheist. This is by Sean McDowell and Jonathan Morrow, and this book is stinking fantastic. I loved it so much, and guy or girl, I think will really enjoy this. Also, I kind of have this like thought in my mind that if you're just kind of like curious about certain things and you're just not sure, or you're kind of like questioning or, you know, hesitant about certain aspects, and you have a lot of questions, even if you're not technically an atheist, you have a lot of questions like that, like, well, what does this mean? Well, what about this? And, you know, and one of the, it's got all different things, but I was trying to think of the one question. Is hell a divine torture chamber? So that was kind of like one that I feel like a lot of people ask, like, well, if God is so great, why would he send anybody to hell and stuff? This book does such a good job at answering these questions, at pointing to scripture, showing, you know, the biblical perspective and the biblical answers for these. And so I think even somebody who may not be a Christian, who may just be like really questioning things, this could be a really good book for them too. So keep that in mind if you have somebody like that in your life. Now we're getting into our men. Our very last genre, our men, after we're out of teenage years. Now, some of these, especially the nonfiction ones, I encourage you guys to let your teenagers read. Christian nonfiction, I started when I was probably 14, 15, and yeah, I'm a lot more well read up on it than a lot of people I meet. So I think it's really like good and encouraging for your spiritual walk to start to get like different perspectives and to learn more on certain things than just having a youth group where you talk about Jonah and, you know, whatever Bible stories and stuff. I think it's great to have the mix and everything outside of your church time and your youth group and your personal like devotional and Bible study time. So that's just me personally. I would definitely encourage, of course you can, I'm one of the ones who's always like, I have to read something before I let my kids read it. My kids are not of the age to read yet, but like I'm very much of that mindset. So if you're of that mindset too, I still just say, you know, check it out yourself. But yeah, absolutely. I'm not gonna recommend something that I'm like, oh, well, you know, could never, but alas. Anyway, let's get into it. So classics that are a little bit more men geared. George Orwell is somebody who is really beloved, I feel like, more so by men. 1984 is a really good one, and Animal Farm is a really good one. I personally love Animal Farm too, and I liked 1984 just fine. I like Animal Farm more. My husband loved both of these. I actually even remember my dad, and he wasn't a huge reader, but he loved 1984. So just keep that in mind. Animal Farm is a bit shorter, but yeah, George Orwell is a really good one. These are the only two I've read by him, but they're both really good. Very politically driven, so if your man's a little bit more into something like that, or your dad or your grandpa or whoever that you're getting it for, brother, yeah, might be up your alley. And next one is The Scarlet Pimpernel by Baroness Orze. I have not read this one personally myself, but my husband has read it and he adored this one. He was like cracking up. He said it was so like funny and humorous. So if somebody's looking for a little bit more of a funny, humorous classic, then The Scarlet Pimpernel. Also another one that I did read, and my sister's actually also reading, and she's really loving it. So it's definitely not just for guys, but the guys do connect a little bit more with this, is King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. And this actually surprised me because this does actually have Christian themes. Don't take it as Christian, but because of the day and age that it was written in, there were more Christian themes just in general in that society of it, what it was written. And it does have a lot underlined. There are still bad things that happen. There's somebody cheating. There's, you know, there's this stuff that kind of, you know, bothered me a little bit, but this was still so good. And it promoted like good morals and honesty and integrity. So definitely one that I think you could get for like younger teenage age and up, honestly. So I'm just gonna go a little free for all here and just kind of, because my books are all jumbled up here. So if your guy is, whoever they are, is more into like science fiction, but he's not like, I don't know, say he's a Star Wars nerd. You know what? There are Star Wars books. Did you know that? Yeah, you can get the original trilogy actually that they have on DVD in a book form if you wanted to. But one that my husband and my siblings and my dad really liked was the Legacy of the Force series. This is the first one, Betrayal. This basically is what somebody wrote and put out for what would happen in episodes 7, 8, and 9 that they did not do. And that's why a bunch of people were mad, because they really messed them up. So if they're into that and they really hated 7, 8, and 9 of Star Wars and was like, why are they messing everything up? Maybe they might like the Legacy of the Force series. So another sci-fi one, but this is more sci-fi thriller, is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Very good. A couple of cuss words, couple of general things, but overall not too much content, just a couple of things here and there, and you know, grown adult male. So yes, definitely recommend this. His thrillers are so fast-paced. It's got such a sciencey aspect. My husband really liked it too. So, and then I always have to recommend this one. And I say girls can enjoy this one too, but I know guys in general enjoyed this one a little bit more, and that is Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. You want horror, you want thriller, you want sci-fi, it's all here, okay? It's all here. Don't worry if they want something, you know, if you have somebody who was a dinosaur lover when he was a boy and he doesn't, you know, here you go. Here you go. Everybody read it. Everybody gift it. Okay, let's do that. Just all gift Jurassic Park. Okay, so if you have somebody who maybe likes more like Western or just like chilled out, you know, like they're more into those types of older TV shows, maybe a grandpa, maybe your husband who's 25 and likes Westerns, old Westerns. Louis L'Amour is a great author to get into. I am not completely sure on his content. You know, it's a Western. It's nothing like insane, if anything, because my husband wouldn't read it if so, but the one he recommends the most is The Lonesome Gods. So if you haven't heard of this or, you know, whatnot, then this is a really good one to get for those gentlemen in your life. All right, and then for fantasy, and this is one that my husband read teenage years and up, but he still goes back to read it, is the Aragon by Christopher Paolini, sorry. This is the Inheritance Cycle book. So this is a fun fantasy about like dragons and stuff like that. They're into that, maybe they'll like this. It's kind of, to me, it kind of seems like a little bit of an alternative from Game of Thrones, because I know that's kind of like dragony fantasy, but Game of Thrones is not clean in any way. So another one is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. And yes, this thing is a chunk. If your gentleman is not scared of chunky books and he wants a high fantasy, just like tons of it in it, and lots of descriptive, my husband has eaten these up. There's also not like tons of bad content in this. There might be a few little things again, but yeah. I also hear Brandon Sanderson in general is a good author, but I can't personally recommend anything else because this is the only ones that my husband has read. And then if you have a history lover in your family, my husband would like to recommend Gods and Generals by Jeff Shahara. This is a novel, but this is very much, when does it take place? The Civil War. So it's Civil War era, and it's a novel kind of like, it's got much historical richness and like actual facts in it, but it's fictionalized, obviously. So he really enjoyed this one and talks about it all the time. And I'm sure my history buff brother would also love it, and my dad probably would have loved it also. So anybody who's into history, here's one. I have another one for you though, don't worry. Unbroken by Lauren Hildenbrand. I actually read this one. I think that guys would like it a little bit more though. It is a World War II story of survival, resilience, and redemption. So it follows Louis, what was his name? He was a Louis Zamperini. He was an Olympic athlete, and he ends up in a Nazi camp during World War II after crashing in the ocean, drifting for days. So it follows his story and all of this awful stuff that happened. It is not fictionalized, guys. She went around and she got letters and journals and talked to people. She put this story together as best as she could, basically. I mean, it kind of is fictionalized, I guess, but not really. And it just, yeah, it's not fictionalized. It's just, it's so well done that sometimes you forget, like, oh my gosh, this is not a fiction story. Like, so definitely suggest this one. And then the last one I have is The Last of the Mohicans by James Fenimore Cooper. And this obviously follows the Native American Mohegan tribe. Honestly, I'm not sure how much of this is, because I haven't read it yet, you know, how much is, but this was one of my dad's favorite books. He was a big history buff, and he always would recommend this to everyone and anyone and everyone. And as I said before, he wasn't a huge reader, so I think anybody who's kind of into the history can also really enjoy this. Also, we're almost there. This is kind of, I guess, a mystery slash Christian allegory type of thing. This is This Present Darkness by Frank Peretti. He also has another one called Monster by him that I know both, I believe my husband and brother have read. Now, I have seen a couple people saying, oh, I have not read Frank Peretti. It was so hard for me to get into it. Everyone I've seen who said that was a girl. Not saying anything, I don't know. He might just be geared more towards men, because every guy that I've heard talk about his books are like obsessed, love him. So this is another one I'm going to recommend for the guys. Any of Frank Peretti's books, honestly. And then another one my husband really loves is The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan. If you haven't read it, obviously this can be for girl, guy. You can even get a children's edition of this now, which we're hoping to get. But yeah, this is just, he did this in the Old English, because of course that's my husband for you. But yes, he really loved this. My brother really loved this. I am hoping to get to it and read it soon. So, and then a few more, two nonfiction for guys is Share Jesus Without Fear, which again, this can go either way. It's just a really good motivational kind of like step-by-step, like these are some pointers and these are some things that you can do to help, like just, yeah, we are getting really dark in here. I'm sorry, guys. To just like help you share the gospel and to feel more comfortable sharing the gospel. And I thought it was really good. And my husband really liked it too. And another one is Family Shepherds by Vodi Bakum. I really love this book, and my husband also really loved this book. I think it's a little bit more geared towards men in general. I'm just a weird person. But yes, this is an amazingly deep book. Just so much on like the actual like structure and the importance of being a shepherd for your family and leading your family. So that is all the books. Hopefully you guys have found something in amongst that to help you with your holiday shopping. If not, I'm so sorry. And thank you for watching all the way through. Let me know, is there like a book that you always recommend when somebody asks, oh, what book should I get for so-and-so? And you're just like, oh, this is perfect for everyone practically. Is like there a book that is just perfect for everyone that you recommend? Because if there is, I would love to know in the comments down below. And I hope you guys continue to have a blessed rest of your week. And yeah, I'm gonna get out of here before it gets much darker and you can't see me. So bye.